Hello, I'm Dr. Rick Chambers, and welcome to another edition of Health, Happiness, and Harmony Partner Training videos. This is the second in our series on the narrative of wholeness, and we're going to use an example. This example comes from a discussion we had the past week of our small local group. Based on an article in Parabola magazine, the title of the article was "To be Touched by the Intelligence We Need." It was written by David Ulrich. But in order to describe the importance of the narrative of wholeness, I thought we'd try to put this article within the context of the overall narrative of wholeness. Our group has coined a word, the Triune Mind, that plays off the concept of the triune brain. But if you want to understand behavior, especially from a biopsychosocial perspective, I feel that the triune mind is a very important concept because it includes the biological brain body. Now, this is layperson biology, or the biology everyone needs to know, combined with the Western mind, which is layperson history and sociology, the history everyone needs to know, but interpreted through the most current sociological lens. And then the individual body mind, which is layperson psychology, the psychology everyone needs to know. And it's the combination of these things into the biopsychosocial model that helps us understand behavior in the world today, and that is essential for health, happiness, and harmony partners. So within this, we're going to focus on the biological brain body first as it relates to this concept of intelligence. So we also have an original concept within the brain body that the brain operates by going into a certain processing configuration. If you've watched our series on addictions, you may understand what I mean by this. It can also be thought of as different gears that the mind can get into. The one that's most familiar with people is the triune brain and the idea of the survival mind, what we call the survival mind, but it's also known as fight, flight, or freeze. This is triggered by threat. And what happens here, the cerebral cortex is inhibited. But we're teaching that there are other configurations the mind can get in. One is the calculating mind. This mind is similar to and operates similar to the way artificial intelligence works, and it's very utilitarian. There's another, we're not going to go into detail as each one of these would require its own video. There's a configuration we call the traditional responsibility mind. This is what Robert Kegan calls the socialized mind, and it's driven more by like within a traditional culture, meaning this is the way we do things around here. There's also what we call the hunting mind or the just do it mind, and this mind is associated with flow and its dark shadow of addiction. And again, we have a series of videos explaining this. But the mind we're going to focus on, or the brain configuration we're going to focus on today, creates the receptive, the relational, the I-thou, the open brain. But it also makes dialogue possible. This is the brain configuration that's associated with dialogue. So, in the part of the article, it starts with opening dialogue. Now, if this were a regular class, we would just go straight to these videos, but I wanted to show where it fits within, where this article fits within the overall narrative of wholeness. But is the ability to open to an experience of dialogue dependent on a necessary and specific brain-body mind, a necessary and specific configuration of the sociological mind, and of two or more individual body minds. The chances of this happening randomly are quite remote. However, we can flip it over and ask the question, does dialogue create or produce a specific brain body, including physiological biochemistry, that leans toward health? Does dialogue create a specific configuration and interaction leaning toward social harmony? Does dialogue create and produce a form of specific psychological configuration leaning toward happiness? Or, put another way, the author of this article simply asks, what is the role of dialogue among individuals or within ourselves that can help us touch or be touched by the intelligence we need? This is where a small group discussion could begin from this question. Thank you very much.